informed that at the time the Right Honorable Speaker admitted the motion, the fact of an action pending at the Supreme Court regarding the subject matter was not brought to his attention. Based on the above precedents, the House must stay its hand off the motion and allow other organs of state. I repeat, the House must stay its hands off the motion and allow other organs of state properly mandated under the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, that is the judiciary, to deal with the matter. Accordingly, the motion and subsequent debate on it is stayed pending the determination of the matter by the Supreme Court. This was not a matter of injunction. It was not an injunction. Mr. Speaker, according to the majority leader, there is going to be vetting. And the chief whip attempted to arrogate the full powers of this House to himself, as if we are dealing with a one-man power, show of power in this country, by saying it will happen, it will happen. We are not into blows. We are here to argue law and for you to determine. So this kind of attack that it will happen, we argue for posterity. Democracy and practice is for posterity. So they should take it easy. Mr. Speaker, let me draw your attention to detailed provisions in our orders. First, Order 2172 on the sub judice rule, Order 103F and 123.1, and on the Speaker's control of the business of the House, guided by Order 2164. Mr. Speaker, none of these expressly contemplate the coexistence of an active constitutional dispute over legality of vacancy. The vetting that is being announced seeks to fail. We have a situation at hand. One is procedure under Order 217 that empowers the appointment committee to consider a nomination when existence of the vacancy itself is sub judice. Are we going to do that? That the appointment committee, knowing that there is a sub judice matter, will still proceed to consider the vetting, whereas the Constitution itself contemplates that the office of Chief Justice will never be vacant. That is why even when the woman was originally suspended, there was an acting Chief Justice. So there should be no hurry. Nobody should contemplate that Parliament is somewhat stopped. That seat is not vacant. However, proceeding to vet a new person to fill that office will be rendering the application of Justice Gertrude Esabato Konu otious. Mr. Speaker, the second is constitutional. We would be proceeding on the part that would amount to a legislative interference with judicial process, contrary to Article 1253 and 1272. Mr. Speaker, which vests judicial power exclusively in the courts and oblige all state organs to protect their independence and effectiveness. Mr. Speaker, we have under Order 20, Order 20 of our rules, 24 provides, the Speaker is the head of the institution of Parliament and presides over the sittings of Parliament. 4, the Speaker shall A, uphold the honor, dignity, and the sanctity of the House. Mr. Speaker, if you read this provision in conjunction or together with the relevant provisions that protect the independence of the Constitution, we are being called upon, therefore, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that Parliament is never seen as bringing any other state organ into disrepute. You sit there, Mr. Speaker, have a duty to uphold the honor, the dignity and sanctity of the House. If this whole Parliament, in view of its own precedents, not long ago, in March, when Afenyo Makin and Habib Idrisu and Vincent Assefa had an application, which application was to determine a governance and practice issue, the majority leader argued strenuously that indeed that matter has a constitutional arm, had a constitutional issue attached thereto. Therefore, I should be restrained from moving the motion. Mr. Speaker, that was his contention. Much as Mr. Speaker, much as I argued that the matter before the House had nothing to do with the court matter, because the House still ruled. By your very good self, Mr. Speaker, you presided. Mr. Speaker, you presided and told us that indeed, because the matter was before courts, we cannot take the motion. Mr. Speaker, let me refer to Eskime, the 5th edition, Eskime, the 26th edition, Eskime, paragraph 2011, I quote, "The House has resolved that no matter awaiting adjudication by a court of law should be brought before it." The matter, if the matter is awaiting adjudication, this House must stay its hands. That is the law. That is the practice. Mr. Speaker, how then would the majority leader, in coming with a business statement, invite us to accept as part of the business statement the vetting of the nominee on Monday the 10th of November, when he is aware that the ECOWAS court has scheduled the 18th of November for the ruling, the ruling in the matter brought before it? What does this House want to hurry to? Why are we in a haste? To render the outcome of the case nugatory, otious, to deny the woman, the Chief Justice of the Republic, her right to occupy her office?
Honorable Minority Leader, kindly conclude.
Mr. Speaker, it is public knowledge that the learned Attorney General has so far even refused to file a defense in the matters at the Supreme Court. It was only last week that he filed a motion for leave to file, for extension of time to file. Mr. Speaker, all these are happening in this country, a country of rule of law, and Parliament would want to shut its eyes on this. Mr. Speaker, in any event, the man empowered with the mandate to empanel the court is himself the very person who has been nominated. And so far, whereas he was in a hurry to empanel the court to hear the injunction applications, none has happened in any of the 6 cases. Mr. Speaker, there's a High Court matter where the Justice Tokonu challenged the warrant of a removal, the AG filed an application seeking constitutional interpretation. It's been weeks that my Lord Baffoe, who alone has the power to empanel the court, has not empaneled the court. In fact, none of the cases involving my lady Tokonu, as well as our respected colleague Vincent Assefoa, has received the blessing of the court for the purpose of hearing. Meanwhile, the time for hearing has long lapsed, with the AG not filing any process and now seeking the leave of the court belatedly for extension of time. Mr. Speaker, I dare submit that the man who is going to be nominated himself is conflicted. He is in conflict. How can you, who knows that office, the occupant is being denied her human rights, and you are supposed to empanel, you are refusing to empanel, yet this house should bless you with the benefit of vetting. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader cannot invite us.
Honorable Minority Leader, I'm pleading with you to conclude.
No, I'm concluding. Mr. Speaker, these are preliminary matters. We have our own matter to deal with, but we want to bring it in the context of the Business Committee report and invite the majority leader to graciously withdraw that aspect of his submission to the effect that on Monday there's going to be vetting. We will not support a report, that business committee report, that has an aspect that says that there's going to be vetting. Mr. Speaker, in any event...
Honorable Minority Leader, do you have the business statement?
Mr. Speaker...
The business statement
Mr. Speaker,
report.
With respect, the business statement, when a member... Mr. Speaker, I've been a majority leader before. When the business statement is presented and questions are asked and inputs are made, and the majority leader and leader of government business, and for that matter the chair of the business committee, confirms certain provisions, it becomes part of the report. That is it. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, don't take me to that part. Mr. Speaker, with respect, he has confirmed that there has been a program. So, Mr. Speaker, let's not belabor. It's a fact. We are saying that he should take that off, he should withdraw that bit, so that the original component of the business committee's report remains without any vetting whatsoever on Monday. Mr. Speaker, in any event, we, the minority, as law-abiding as we are, filed a motion several days ago, and I've done several follow-ups. Mr. Speaker, our minority should not be taken for granted. It should never be taken for granted. We are encouraged at all times that we should be law-abiding, follow procedure, and we'll be vigilant in that process. So, Mr. Speaker, awaiting all of this, the majority leader cannot just announce to us that Justice Araba Esabato Konu's prayer does not matter. She is a Ghanaian who was appointed. She has submitted herself to all due process. Her rights must be respected. This parliament must, with the greatest respect, rely on its own precedent not long ago and allow the court to determine the matter. it should be our collective call on the acting Chief Justice to quickly empanel the court. It must be our collective voice to encourage the Attorney General to file a defense. It must be our collective voice to encourage the Attorney General to go to the ECOWAS court and file a defense, rather than we being threatened by the chief whip of the majority that vetting will happen with all his might. We are not dealing with might. That vetting will not happen. It will not happen. You must follow due process. Follow the law. Do the right thing. We, the minority, will not shut our mouth. You can follow due process. That's all. Mr. Speaker, I want to resume my seat by saying that my submission does not in any way seek a ruling from you. I am not seeking a ruling. I am rather seeking the indulgence of the majority leader, who knows the rules, to do the needful by withdrawing this aspect of the report that is going to be vetted. Mr. Speaker, we know how to move our case and we'll do the needful. But this one is not a motion bringing it up for you to make a ruling. No. Mr. Speaker, that said, I will rest my case and hear the majority leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I think it is important, first and foremost, that we are reminded at all times that we are not just speaking to ourselves, we are also speaking to a wider audience. And so I always make it a point, as much as I can, to speak directly to the wider audience by trying to break down things to a very basic level. When you break down things to a very basic level, sometimes people who think they know realize that they actually don't know, and then they will appreciate. Now, the Chief of Staff had issued some directives regarding some recruitments that happened after the NDC came into office. And somebody went to the Supreme Court to try and get the court to intervene and determine that action of the Chief of Staff was unconstitutional, it was wrong, it was a violation of the rights of those individuals. Then the minority leader brought a motion to this House, urging this House to take some decisions regarding the action of the Chief of Staff. So I raised an objection on the grounds that because someone has already gone to court to vindicate the rights of the people who were dismissed it will amount to interference in the work of the courts for this parliament to also go into that matter. This parliament was asked to act in a matter that was quasi-judicial. Quasi-judicial. Once a judicial process was already underway. And so I said, you will be interfering in the work of the courts if they have started a judicial process of determining the rights or otherwise of those dismissed. Then you also come to this parliament and say we should also start another process of determining the rights or otherwise of the same people. That will interfere in the work of the judiciary, because their main responsibility constitutionally is to vindicate rights. We primarily are to enact legislation, hold the executive accountable, and sometimes hold the judiciary also accountable. So our position is secondary to that of the judiciary in this matter. That was the context, and that is how the Speaker concluded that I was right in that instance, and therefore your motion should not be admitted. Now let's come to this present instance about the Appointments Committee. In this instance, you are saying that a referral that has been made by the Speaker to a committee of this House to exercise a function that constitutionally is within the province of that committee, because the Constitution is clear that there shall be committees of Parliament, and that when somebody is nominated to be a Chief Justice, this Parliament must give approval, and the internal processes of this Parliament is to refer that nomination to the committee to do what we popularly call vetting, and then present a report to us for us to consider and then approve. So a referral has been made to the committee. You are saying that there is litigation in the court regarding the propriety of the processes relating to the removal of the Chief Justice, the previous Chief Justice. And because there is litigation regarding the processes leading to the removal of the previous Chief Justice, this Parliament should not consider a nomination brought to this Parliament, a nomination which the Speaker has accepted and which he has referred to a committee for the committee to process. And I once again bring your attention to the fact that the same Supreme Court has said that in matters that are primarily the responsibility of Parliament, once Parliament starts dealing with those matters, no one anywhere can stop Parliament from dealing with those matters until Parliament has completed the process of dealing with that matter.
You understand?
The Supreme Court has said that severally. And he just cited two cases in which members of this House have gone to the Supreme Court to try and get the Supreme Court to order this House to stop considering matters that the House was considering on the grounds that they felt it was unconstitutional for Parliament to consider those matters. Similar to what you are raising today, that because there is litigation, the matter should not be dealt with by the Appointments Committee. And the Supreme Court said no. In matters that are primarily within the mandate of Parliament, we, the Supreme Court, we will not interfere until they have finished. And we have seen the outcome of their work. It is the outcome of their work that we may examine the quality, but not the process. This is a very simple, I've tried to be so basic because I want the students who are sitting out there to understand the conversation that is going on. So, Honorable Minority Leader, Reference to the Constitution, to Erskine May, to all those things don't really make a difference. The matter is so simple and so basic. The Supreme Court of Ghana has said that when this parliament is engaged in its primary responsibility, it will always allow this parliament to go through that process to the end. And then if the outcome is wrong or goes against a specific provision of the Constitution, then they at that point can make that determination. But once they are seized with jurisdiction and they are dealing with the matter, they will not interfere. I haven't seen a ruling changing this position of the Supreme Court. So as for ECOWAS, yes, even ECOWAS court will always tell you that you should have fully exhausted local remedies before you come to the ECOWAS court. So if you are already in the courts of Ghana trying to vindicate your rights, you haven't finished in Ghana, then you jump to Abuja. You jump to Abuja when you have not yet exhausted local remedies. I'll be surprised if ECOWAS court delves into your matter. I'm saying this because I have been a member of ECOWAS parliament for close to a decade. And I know how that court functions. I know how that court functions. So I can assure you, without making any pronouncements now, that the principle at the ECOWAS court is that you must have exhausted local remedies before you go to ECOWAS court. Mr. Speaker, I plead with my colleagues. I know that the circumstances surrounding the removal of the former Chief Justice is a matter that especially my brother, the minority leader, has fought. He has embarked on street marches. In the process, some policemen even allege that he became physical against them. I can understand. I can understand that this is a matter that he is personally very passionate about.
Majority Leader, conclude. But
the Constitution is very clear on these matters. The nomination of the Chief Justice is properly before this House. It has been referred to the committee, and the committee will sit on Monday. I urge him to appear before the committee as a member. You can ask all your questions. The Chief Justice nominee is ready and available and willing to answer all questions put to him, and very, very capable. If at the end of the day, there is any decision by any court in this country, I'm sure the court will find a way of crafting a mechanism for enforcing their decision. The court will find a mechanism for crafting the enforcement of their decision. Mr. Speaker, the courts, after we have completed our work in this House, have been able to strike down the conclusion of the work of this House. In that ruling led by Justice Yoni Kulundi, they annulled what we did in this House. So please, allow the system to work. Allow the system to work. So, honorable colleagues, I have presented to you the business statement for next week. The minority leader is a member of the business committee. The minority chief whip is also a member of the business committee. And so this business that we have presented to you is business that we agreed together as the business of the House for next week. And we urge you to approve it so that we can move on. As for the referral to the committee, that was done some time ago. It was not really part of the records of the business statement of this sitting. It wasn't. It is an old referral. What we did is to attach records of the old referrals to remind members that those referrals are still pending before them. But it is not a matter for decision today. The work of these committees are not matters for decision today. It is just to remind members that these assignments are pending before them. So the question of the appointments committee and what they are to do on Monday is not for decision today. It is a matter already referred by the speaker to them. So if you are going to challenge the decision of the speaker on that matter, you know the procedure to use. You know the procedure for challenging a decision that has been taken. So the speaker has already taken a decision referring the nomination to the appointments committee. All we are doing is to remind all committees that businesses are pending before them, that they should endeavor to accomplish those businesses and bring their reports to us for decision. So you cannot get up and, like somebody did in secondary school exams, where the question was, what is a tree? Then he says, oh, a tree has branches. Sometimes birds perch on the trees, and one may ask, what is a bird? And then went on a tangent of explaining and describing a bird because that is what he had prepared for in the exams. I am saying this because I know as a fact that he had filed a motion seeking to challenge the authority of this House to have the nominee considered by the appointments committee. He filed a motion. He raised it at conclave, and I reminded him that you cannot stop this parliament from conducting its lawful business. I reminded him, and he told me, listen carefully, please listen carefully. He told me that he had prepared to argue that motion, and that even if I wanted, he would give me copies of his arguments that he would prefer. That is why I'm saying that he had prepared on an examination about a bird. He had prepared to argue a motion. He had prepared to please listen. He had prepared to argue a motion. He had prepared to argue a motion on the constitutionality of this House, considering the nomination of the Chief Justice. So even though that motion is not properly before this House, and what is before this House is the business statement for the ensuing week, he decided to argue his motion.
Honorable Majority Leader, conclude. Kindly conclude.
So, Mr. Speaker, I think that the issues that he has raised are not properly before us. There's no issue about the sitting of the appointments committee. That is a matter decided already by this House. What is before you is the business statement so that we can schedule activities for next week. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Honorable with all due respect, honorable members, with all due respect, the minority leader in raising the issue indicated that he's not calling on the speaker to make a ruling. So if there is an issue raised which the speaker is not called upon to make a ruling, do we open it up for debate? Honourable members, with all due respect, he came out clearly to state that he's raising the issue but not calling on me to make a ruling. So we cannot therefore open this for a debate, with all due respect. So minority leader, I will give you the floor. If you have something to say, then we make progress. But I don't intend to open this up for debate, because I am not being called upon to make a ruling. Our members, procedurally, if minority leader raise an issue and is not calling for a ruling, why do we debate this matter? So please, minority leader, I appeal with you to be brief.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, first, perhaps my two colleagues who were up on their feet, what they sought to do was to seek your leave to contribute to the business statement. Mr. Speaker, the subject matter of this whole discourse is a business statement.
Yes.
So, respectfully, I believe that, yes, I would come in to respond to the issues that I disagree with. Mr. Speaker, you made some fundamental point, but the
so,
members,
Honorable Minority Leader,
yes, Mr. Speaker, yes,
with all due respect
yes,
to you,
yes,
if you intend to respond to what he is saying, before I could open the floor to take comment on the business statement, it will be fair and just that we conclude the issue that you have raised. Then I can give them the floor to comment on the business statement.
Mr. Speaker, if that Mr. Speaker, let me finish.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Let me hear Majority Leader.
Let me hear Majority
before you
Leader.
come back.
Yes, don't worry.
Mr. Speaker, we all know the practices of this House. When the business statement is read, we start with comments from backbenchers.
That is so, I agree.
To the seniors. And then we end with the leaders. So, no one, unless there's something earth-shattering, no one after the minority leader has commented
in
on
fact,
business
without cutting you short, I have the privilege of discussing this with some leaders from the minority side, that it is not always fair and just that we wait and give opportunity for our leaders after the leaders speaking. Then the back will want to have the opportunity to again speak. It is not a good practice. It doesn't sound well. So the leaders, I plead with you, anytime you want to speak, look at your back. Because once you have the floor, I think I even raised this on the floor of this house, that it is always good to look at your back. Because a leader must speak last. A chief must speak last. Yes, Honorable Habib.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm guided by the fact that our leaders have spoken on this matter. And it is the business statement that the House needs to take a decision to either adopt either the amendments to read. That is what is stated in our standing orders in Order 71. Mr. Speaker, I want to draw your attention to something. As much as we are gearing towards taking as much as we are taking the decision on the business statement, I want to refer you to the Constitution in Article 104. And Article 104 of the 1992 Constitution states, and I read, Mr. Speaker, 1, that except as otherwise provided in this Constitution, matters in Parliament shall be determined by the votes of all members of Parliament present and voting, with at least half of the members of Parliament present. Mr. Speaker, for us to adopt this business statement, we are going to take a decision. And to take that decision means we need 138 members of Parliament present to do that. And we don't have. At the moment, we are 108 in this chamber. So for that matter, Mr. Speaker, we cannot adopt the business statement. Mr. Speaker, we cannot adopt the business statement at the moment. We cannot take that decision. We don't have 138 members. Mr. Speaker, to determine Mr. Speaker, we don't have 138 members present at the moment to take a decision or determine for the approval of the business statement. And for that matter, Mr. Speaker, I invite you to apply the provisions in the Constitution in Article 104 that we don't have 138 members to adopt the business statement. And Mr. Speaker, the majority side, there are only 77.
Honorable Habib.
The majority side, there are 177. We cannot take that decision in the approval of the business statement because we don't.
I think your application is premature. We haven't got to a stage of taking decision. Minority leader has raised an issue. Minority leader has raised an issue. And it is the issue raised by minority leader that we are considering. Yes, majority leader. Yes, majority leader.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when the Honorable Habib was on his feet, he made reference to Order 71 and indicated that a decision is to be taken. And that is the basis on which he is raising the question of decision quorum. I rose up because he specifically mentioned Order 71. And before he went to the constitutional provision, he mentioned Order 71, then now raised the constitutional issues. So I think that we should read Order 71. Order 71 says, business statement. 1. Every Friday, the chairperson of the business committee shall present to the House a statement on the business arranged for the following week. Present to the House a statement on the business arranged for the following week. Where the first sitting of a meeting precedes a Friday, the statement on the business arranged for the remainder of the week, where possible, shall be presented on the day of the commencement of the meeting. And finally, 3 says, the chairperson of the business committee may present supplementary statements as determined by the committee. Mr. Speaker, a statement, not a report to be adopted by this House. A statement. I want you to read your standing orders properly and understand it properly. The order says the chairperson should give you a statement. The same way, give me your... The same way that statements are made in our standing orders. Which statement has ever been made in this house that has had to be adopted by this house? Which statement? It shows that we have been doing the wrong thing. We have been doing the wrong thing. Mr. Speaker, I'm very serious. I'm very serious. We have been doing the wrong thing. Because I am reading Order 71, and it says, every Friday, the chairperson of the business committee shall present to the House a statement on the business arranged for the following week. A statement. There's nothing there that says that you should adopt it or a decision. What you do is that if I present the statement and then in your commentary on the statement, there is additional business that should be conducted by the House, then I make supplementary statements. And those supplementary statements then also provide notice of the other businesses that may be done in addition. A business statement is just a notice to you of what the agenda of the House is going to be. Mr. Speaker, so I don't think that there's no basis for raising an issue of constitutionality. There is no basis because, you see, there is a business committee. When the business committee meets, they are regulated by the provisions relating to committee work, which means that they have to adopt the outcome of their work. But when I come here as chairperson of that committee, I'm not presenting a report that should be adopted by this House. I am making a statement outlining the agenda of this House for the subsequent week. That is the position. And Mr. Speaker, I invite you to look at Order 71(1) and what it actually means. I know all the time when the statement is made, members get up and then they raise issues that they think should be included, and then the leader would say, oh yeah, okay, we'll add that, and etc. That is in the nature of the supplementary statement. In the end, the speaker will usually say, oh, the statement is hereby adopted or put it to us, and that kind of thing. I'm saying that, strictly speaking, a statement is not a matter that should be adopted and accepted. It is a statement.
Honorable member, conclude. Yes, Honorable Habib.
Mr. Speaker, when I raised my issue, the majority leader, I need your attention, who says that the order that I stated was wrong. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the standing orders, and on the front bench, this is my 5th year on the front bench, and I know my rules well. Read Order 101, Mr. Speaker, and I read A. Order 101A. Mr. Speaker said, a motion notice shall be given of a motion intended to be moved, except a motion number 1A, for the adoption of the report of the business committee. It's in the form of a motion. Yes, it's a motion that needs to be adopted. It's a motion that needs to be adopted. It is a motion that needs to be adopted. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, order.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Habib.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Deputy Whip.
Mr. Speaker, I read again.
Honorable Deputy Minority Whip. With all due respect, in adopting the business statement, do we put a question?
Mr. Speaker, I am drawing his attention that, Mr. Speaker, in Standing Order 101 reads that notice shall be given of a motion intended to be moved, except a motion A for the adoption of the report of the business committee. Mr. Sir, how do you adopt a report in the parliamentary procedure?
Well, you indicated.
It's a report to the House.
Honorable Habib,
to be adopted.
Honorable Habib, you have indicated you've been a member of parliament at the front bench for 5 years. So, with the 5 years experience, do we adopt a business statement by putting a question?
Yes.
Yes, minority leader, you want to help us whether a business statement is adopted by putting a question? Yes, minority leader, let me hear you.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, we Mr. Speaker,
minority leader,
Mr. Speaker,
before you come in, permit me to acknowledge the presence of some students in our midst.
Very well.
We have a student from Regional Maritime University, led by Ochre Nana Kwesi Ba, head of the Student Representative Council. They are from Kroa constituency, they numbered 40. We also have Kingdom Heirs Montessori, led by Joseph Ama. He is a facilitator. They are from Botiano, English, Amanfro. They numbered 82. Honorable members, on your behalf, I welcome all of them to Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. May you have a fruitful visit to Parliament. Thank you very much for coming. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I am on my feet on two issues. First, Mr. Speaker, our side have a concern, and it's a concern that is very collective. We have noticed that in many instances, when we are contributing, you interject with a lot of questions. However, the majority leader and his colleagues on the front bench, as well as the majority members, are allowed to flow. Mr. Speaker, we would plead with you that as much as possible, much as you give them the unfettered opportunity to make their submissions, please allow us also, because many times you interject with rhetorical questions, and sometimes we read sarcasm in it. Unfortunately, sometimes we do, because if a member makes a submission, Mr. Speaker, the member, when Mr. Speaker, for the first time, I will take issue with the majority leader. Sometimes when we are all arguing and he disagrees, he has a way he uses a language so offensive, but I have decided to always.
No, I thought you were addressing me.
I am not worried. I am never.
Minority leader, I thought you were talking about.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I need to finish respectfully. He uses certain language. The matter you referred to, he came to say his argument at the dispatch box was with the effect that the business statement is a statement and not a report. He went further to say that for that matter, it doesn't need any numbers constitutionally provided to adopt it. And that's whatever we've been doing is wrong. The respected member for Tolon got up to remind him of Order 101A, which says that there are motions that require notice, and the business statement is one of the motions that no notice is required, and it has to be adopted. Let us pay attention to the language of our own regulation. It talks about adoption, How do we adopt report in this house? How do we adopt report in this house? Any report that is adopted must meet the threshold constitutionally provided. So he was on a firm grounds when he said that to adopt the business statement, we need a minimum of 138. He went further to say that at the time he was arguing, the majority had only 77 of their 189. That is a statement he's made on record. And even now, as we count, you are now 82. We are still counting you. Yes. Yes. So after your super majority, exists merely enormous. Today, we are using soft and substance to challenge you. We are facing you with substance. We are not facing you with numbers. We know when it comes to numbers, you have it. That is why we have enriched our argument by doing research. That is why the member for Tolon is able to remind the majority leader that indeed he didn't make the application lamely. He didn't bring a lame application. Mr. Speaker, let us even pay attention to paragraph 1 of the business statement. Quote, Mr. Speaker, the committee met yesterday, Thursday, 6 November 2025, and arranged the business of the House for the 4th week ending 14 November 2025. Mr. Speaker, the committee accordingly submits its report as follows. Mr. Speaker, though the language statement is used, but the content of that document is a report. He is the chairman of the committee. Let's look at Order 216. The business committee comprises of the leader of government business and a chairperson, the leader of the party or parties in parliament who do not form the government as a ranking, chief whip, and no more than 11 other members. Mr. Speaker, it goes on to talk about its proposed sitting and recommendations. Whatever the business committee does, it presents to the House in the form of a report. And 101A provides, and I quote again for the avoidance of doubt, at the risk of being repetitive. It says that notice shall be given of a motion intended to moved, except a motion for the adoption of the report of the business committee. Let's read them together. This provision and the first paragraph of your own report, the conclusion, and let's be very conjunctive. You cannot read them in isolation.
So, Minority Leader,
Mr. Speaker,
reading all the provisions in totality.
Yes, sir.
My question is not being sarcastic.
Mr.
It can lead us to resolve the matter ourselves, and that is the best approach.
Mr. Speaker,
that is why my question is simple. How do we adopt a business committee's report or
Mr.
a
Speaker,
business statement?
Mr. Speaker, the procedure for adopting a report in this chamber has always been by taking a vote. A vote, if it is challenged.
Leader,
yes.
You've been in this house for a very long time.
Yes.
Can you mention one instance where we adopted a business committee's report by a vote?
Mr. Speaker, with respect. Mr. Speaker, with respect. How do we adopt reports in this house? How do we? He, the majority leader, said, if in the past we didn't use a certain procedure, then it is wrong. That was he said. He said we have adopted a wrong procedure. That's what he said.
I do not think we should set a very bad precedent by adopting a business committee.
They need 138. They should bring their members.
Statement
they say
by
they
way
majority.
of a vote.
Bring your 138 and approve your.
Would have been serving a very bad precedent for this house. It has never happened before. I came here in 2013. In ruling government, it has never happened. I was in opposition for 8 years. It has never happened. I'm now in government. That is why I'm saying that let us not set that bad precedent. The seniors in this house can attest to the fact that we have never adopted a business statement by way of voting. It has never happened. Yes, Honorable Ayarga, let me hear you. Let me hear you.
Mr. Speaker, this order paper sets out the agenda for today. This order paper sets out the agenda for today. If you go to page 5, item 13 of page 5, motion that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Energy. That this House adopts the report. So this is a motion requiring a vote and a decision. The same order paper at page 2 says business statement. If it is a report, this order paper would have said a report to be adopted by a motion. No, Mr. Speaker asks you a simple question. Is that okay? How are reports adopted in this House? Reports are adopted in this House through motions, and those motions are advertised. So that is the point that I'm making to you. The point I'm making to you is that this is not advertised as a motion for decision. It is a simple statement. And I'm saying that when a simple statement is made, it does not require a vote for you to adopt a statement.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
All members, Minority Leader first. Minority Leader first. Minority Leader first.
Mr. Speaker.
Members, I'm watching and the cameras are also watching. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Majority Leader cannot get away with what he just said. Mr. Speaker, the rules of this House defines what the business statement is. It defines the business statement as a report and a motion. That is what the rule says. It is not me. It is not me who says that. It is the rules enacted by us. Mr. Speaker, the hierarchy of laws is an order paper, a rule. Mr. Speaker, when there is any conflict, the rule takes precedence. The law would always take precedence over any other thing. Where the law has provided in explicit terms that, Mr. Speaker, the business statement should come by way of a motion, which does not require notice, and it has to be adopted, the majority leader is urging upon this house to take it as a mere statement. Mr. Speaker, all that they are doing is to play games, filibuster, to increase their 82 to a comfortable number. We will not allow you. You are 82. Mr. Speaker, you must determine the constitutional issue. We don't have 138. You cannot use this to invite your members in. You are now 74. We will not allow you to use delay tactics to invite your members to come in. Mr. Speaker, we are not up to 138. If Mr. Speaker wants to make a ruling on this matter, Mr. Speaker should make the ruling, and posterity will judge this house.
Yes, on this note, I'm being called upon to make a ruling. Let me hear Honorable Ahmed.
If you don't want to go by the rules and the Constitution,
yes, I will make my rulings.
Mr. Speaker, I need to
I'll make my rulings.
Mr. Speaker, let me conclude.
Yes.
Let me conclude with respect.
Okay, I thought you concluded and calling on me to make a ruling.
The majority leader cannot choose his convenience. When it pleases him, he says Constitution. When it pleases him, he says now his authority is other paper. He doesn't depend on Constitution and the rules book. We challenge him with order 101A. He has not commented on it. He doesn't want to respond to it. All he says is other paper. Mr. Speaker, a constitutional issue has been raised.
Honorable,
you have to rule on it.
Honorable,
we are not 138.
Honorable Minority Leader, are you done? I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Ahmed Banda, Minister for Local Government. You have the floor. Minister for Local Government, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, what I do? What I do?
Honorable Ahmed Banda, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Oh, Mr. Speaker, at least.
Won't you sit down? Hey, won't you sit down?
Wait.
Sit down. My friend, sit down.
It's okay.
Honorable John Dako, I recognize Honorable Banda, but not you.
Mr.
Honorable
Speaker,
Banda, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with respect.
Honorable Asafoje, will you resume your seat?